In the quiet moments of our lives, when the noise of the world recedes, have you ever noticed a soft whisper from within? It is subtle, almost imperceptible, yet profoundly insistent. This whisper, my friends, is your heart's wisdom, calling you back to yourself, guiding you toward a peace that no external achievement or possession can offer. But how often do we truly listen? We live in a world that celebrates intellect and reason, often at the expense of intuition and feeling. Our hearts, however, hold a knowledge that transcends logic. They are attuned to the vibrations of life itself, offering insights that our minds might overlook. So, why do we resist this inner wisdom? Is it fear of vulnerability? Distrust in something we cannot quantify? Or simply the distraction of endless pursuits? Let us begin by exploring what it means to listen to your heart. Close your eyes and place your hand on your chest. Feel its steady rhythm. This is not just the organ that keeps you alive, it is the seat of your deepest truths. Yet, many of us have silenced it, building walls around our hearts to protect ourselves from pain. But in doing so, we also shut out joy, love, and clarity. The journey to embrace your heart's wisdom begins with stillness. In stillness, we confront ourselves, not as we wish to be, but as we are. Are you willing to sit with yourself in silence, even if it means encountering discomfort? Can you hold space for your fears and doubts without judgment? These questions are not easy, but they are necessary. As you sit in stillness, notice the sensations in your body. The tightness in your chest, the fluttering in your stomach. What are they trying to tell you? Your body and heart are in constant dialogue, translating emotions and experiences into a language of feeling. By tuning in, you open the door to understanding yourself on a deeper level. But listening is only the first step. The real challenge lies in trusting what you hear. When your heart tells you to leave a situation that no longer serves you, do you hesitate? When it urges you to take a leap of faith, do you retreat into the safety of the familiar? Ask yourself, what would happen if I trusted my heart completely, even just once? Consider this. The heart's wisdom is not infallible, but it is always honest. It does not calculate risks or rewards. It simply reveals what feels aligned with your truest self. It whispers, "This is who you are." Are you willing to listen? Imagine a world where every decision you made was guided not by fear or societal expectation, but by the quiet confidence of your inner compass. How would your life change? What would you let go of? What would you embrace? These questions are not rhetorical. They are an invitation. Take a moment to reflect deeply. Now let me challenge you. Think of a decision you are currently facing. What does your mind say? And what does your heart say? Do they agree, or are they at odds? If there is a conflict, which voice will you honor? Why? Your heart's wisdom is a gift, but like any gift, it must be nurtured. Practice listening every day, even in small ways. When you feel drawn to a certain path, follow it. When you feel resistance, explore it. Over time, you will develop an unshakable trust in your inner voice, a trust that will guide you through life's greatest challenges and uncertainties. As we end this part of the journey, let me leave you with this thought. The heart does not speak in words but in feelings. It does not demand attention but patiently waits for you to notice. Will you answer its call? Unveiling inner peace, the art of living from the heart. To live from the heart is to walk a path both profound and simple. Profound because it requires courage to face truths often buried deep within us. Simple because it aligns us with the essence of who we are. Yet, why does something so natural feel so challenging? Perhaps the question we must ask is, what stands in the way of our inner peace? Inner peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of harmony within ourselves. It is the equilibrium between our mind and heart, where thoughts and feelings coexist without contradiction. How often do you feel this harmony? Or, more importantly, how often do you feel the dissonance when it's missing? To live from the heart is to embrace its dual nature. The heart is both a source of immense joy and deep vulnerability. It compels us to love fiercely, even at the risk of loss. It urges us to forgive, even when the mind clings to resentment. And it invites us to trust, even when life feels uncertain. Are you willing to accept this duality? Think about the last time you truly followed your heart. What happened? Did it lead to an outcome you expected, or did it surprise you? Our hearts often guide us toward the unexpected, not because they seek to disrupt, but because they aim to awaken. Every time we listen, we strengthen our connection to the wisdom within. But what does it mean to live from the heart in a practical sense? It means making choices that honor your values and align with your purpose. It means speaking your truth even when it trembles on your lips. And it means extending compassion not just to others, but also to yourself. How often do you extend the same kindness to yourself that you so freely give to others? Consider this exercise. The next time you are faced with a decision, pause. Instead of rushing into action, place your hand on your heart and ask, what feels right? Notice the difference between what your mind says and what your heart feels. Your mind may weigh pros and cons, but your heart will always steer you toward authenticity. Which voice will you follow? Living from the heart also requires us to confront fear of failure, rejection, and even success. Fear is the mind's way of protecting us, but it often does so at the expense of growth. The heart, on the other hand, embraces fear as part of the journey. It says, feel the fear, but do it anyway. What would your life look like if you stopped letting fear dictate your choices? As we dive deeper into the heart's wisdom, we realize that inner peace is not something to be achieved, but something to be remembered. Peace is our natural state, buried beneath layers of conditioning and expectation. Every step we take toward authenticity is a step back to peace. Now, let's address one of the greatest barriers to inner peace: attachment. We cling to people, outcomes, and identities, believing they define us. But attachment is like holding water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. The heart teaches us to hold lightly, to love without possession, and to live without fear of loss. Can you love someone so deeply that you are willing to set them free? Another cornerstone of living from the heart is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about condoning harm, but about freeing yourself from the burden of resentment. When we forgive, we release the past's grip on our present. But forgiveness must also extend inward. How many of you are carrying the weight of your own mistakes, unable to forgive yourselves? What would it take to let that go? Let us reflect on a profound question. If you stripped away all external labels, your job, your relationships, your possessions, who would you be? This is not a question to answer lightly, for it cuts to the core of our existence. Your heart knows the answer, even if your mind resists. Will you dare to ask it? Living from the heart is an ongoing practice, not a destination. It requires patience and self-compassion. Some days, you will feel deeply connected to your inner wisdom. Other days, you may feel lost. Both are part of the journey. Trust that every step, even the missteps, brings you closer to yourself. As we conclude this part, let me leave you with this. Your heart is not just a source of wisdom, but also a wellspring of courage. Every time you act from the heart, you strengthen not only your connection to yourself, but also to the world around you. When you live from the heart, you inspire others to do the same. The boundless heart, connecting to the world through love and wisdom. To live from the heart is not merely a personal journey, it is a bridge that connects us to the world. The wisdom of the heart is not confined to the individual. It ripples outward, touching everyone we encounter. It is through this boundless connection that we truly come to understand our place in the grand tapestry of life.
Let us begin by reflecting on the idea of interconnectedness. Have you ever felt a profound sense of unity with the people around you, or even with nature itself? Perhaps it was during a quiet walk in the forest, a deep conversation with a loved one, or simply observing the stars. That feeling is the heart recognizing its connection to something greater. But how often do we honor this connection in our daily lives? When we listen to our hearts, we begin to see others not as separate but as reflections of ourselves. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every moment of compassion creates a chain reaction. Your love and wisdom, when shared, can ignite the hearts of others. Ask yourself, how often do I let my heart guide my interactions with others? And how might the world change if more of us did the same? But let us not romanticize this path. To live with an open heart in a world filled with suffering requires immense courage. It means allowing yourself to feel deeply, not just joy but also pain. The heart does not numb itself to protect against sorrow. Instead, it expands to hold it all. Are you willing to let your heart break open, knowing that through the cracks light enters? One of the greatest lessons the heart teaches us is that love is not a finite resource. It is boundless, infinite, and self-replenishing. The more you give, the more you receive. Yet many of us live as though love must be rationed, as if offering it to one person diminishes it for another. Why do we fear running out of love? Could it be that we confuse love with approval, attention, or attachment? What would change if we saw love as a state of being rather than something to be earned or exchanged? The wisdom of the heart also extends to how we view conflict. When disagreements arise, the mind often seeks to dominate, to prove itself right. The heart, however, seeks understanding. It asks, what does this person need? What pain might they be carrying that I cannot see? The next time you find yourself in conflict, pause and ask, what would my heart do in this moment?
Another profound aspect of living from the heart is humility. The heart knows that wisdom is not about having all the answers, but about asking the right questions. It is willing to admit, I don't know, and to approach life with curiosity and openness. How often do you allow yourself to not have all the answers? How might your relationships deepen if you approached others with a genuine desire to learn from them? Let us explore a practice to deepen this connection. Each day, choose one person, whether a loved one or a stranger, and silently send them thoughts of love and well-being. Imagine your heart radiating light, enveloping them in warmth and care. You may never see the effects of this practice, but trust that it makes a difference. How would your life change if you extended this practice to everyone you encountered? As we deepen our connection to others, we also deepen our connection to the world. The heart recognizes the sacredness of all life, the trees, the rivers, the animals, the stars. It sees no separation between itself and the universe. Have you ever looked at a sunset or a mountain and felt a sense of awe that words cannot capture? That is your heart remembering its place in the cosmos. Yet living from the heart also requires discernment. Boundless love does not mean allowing others to harm you or ignoring your own needs. The heart's wisdom includes setting boundaries that protect your well-being while still honoring the humanity of others. Can you love someone while saying no to their demands? Can you forgive without forgetting? As we approach the end of this journey, let us reflect on what it means to live a life guided by the heart. It means embracing impermanence, knowing that everything we love will one day change or fade. But instead of clinging, the heart chooses to cherish. It says, this moment, this person, this experience is precious because it is fleeting. How might your life transform if you saw every moment as sacred? Living from the heart is not a destination, but a practice, a daily commitment to authenticity, compassion, and courage. It is a path that asks us to look inward, connect outward, and stand rooted in the present moment. It is a path that challenges us to love without conditions, to forgive without limits, and to live without fear. And so, I leave you with one final question. If you listen to your heart right now, what would it tell you? Not tomorrow, not next week, but in this very moment. What truth is your heart whispering? Will you have the courage to follow it? May your heart guide you toward profound understanding and unshakable peace. The world is waiting for your light. Go forth and shine.